Yes, hello and welcome to Jubilee Stadium. No, this is not the world's best beard competition. We are live for another pre-game show on the Sydney FC Facebook page, and it is a delight to welcome Sky Blues legend Alex Brosque for the pre-game show. How are you, mate?
I'm pretty good, yeah. Enjoying being back. This room is normally full of people, so it's a bit strange to see it with just myself, you and a few other Sydney FC staff. But either way, it's good to be back at the grounds. I missed the last game, so it's good to be back and good to see the boys, lift this thing today.
How's retirement treating you?
It's okay. You're trying to get a story out of me that I told you before, where my pants didn't fit me?
No, wouldn't do that.
It's going all right. I've put on a few kilos, but that's exactly what I want to do. Just enjoy this year.
Good stuff. Well, of course, as I'm sure you're aware by now, that Sydney FC just need the 1 point to claim this splendid piece of silverware, although this is actually a replica, for what would be the fourth time, an A-League record, and also equaling a National League record along with the Melbourne Knights and Perth Glory. So a little bit of history in the offing for Sydney FC if they can get that 1 point tonight. Alex, you've been a part of the previous three Sydney FC Premiership winning teams. I guess it creates a real bond, doesn't it, down the years when you're part of a team that has success. You remember those big moments the rest of your life.
You definitely do. I mean, when anyone sort of brings up any memories you have, they're the first ones you think about. Premierships, grand finals, big moments that you've played in with teams. I remember all the boys that I've played with and keep in touch with most of them, even the ones from the first premiership I won. So I think it's obviously a big thing for the club, but as players, like you said, that sort of bond that you develop and keep forever is something special.
How does this team rate, do you think, this current Sydney FC team, against some of the sides that won the Premiership when you were playing? It's not that long ago for one or two of them.
No. You know what? I think it's a great team. It's an incredible team. I saw once they started taking shape for this season, bringing in Costa, Luke Bratton, and just the depth that they have this year. I think it's definitely, on paper, one of the best teams that this club's ever had. But just the way that they've been able to find ways to win every week, regardless of the pressure that's on them, regardless of what players in, what players out, has been what's really struck me this season. Just their ability to find a way to win no matter what.
Is it fair to say that there are three keys to success: a settled team, good recruitment, and a smart coach? And Sydney have got all three.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, you need a bit of luck as well with injuries throughout the season, your main players. But in saying that, I don't think you could point to Sydney's team and say that's their main player. If he's out, they're gone. I think if you take any one or two or three players out of Sydney, the guys that come in can do just as good a job. So that's for me, the big sort of the depth that they have. That's been a key factor to them this year. But of course, those three things you mentioned, and the way that Stevie Corica is guiding this team, Wilco leading them as well, and just keeping everything that Wilco knows how to do going on the park, is why they had such a good season.
Okay, let's take a little trip down memory lane, shall we? Sydney FC staying on the brink of what would be their 8th major trophy in the A-League era. Success has been a familiar companion to all in Sky Blue down the last few years.
Here's Kissel, dropped nicely for him! Carol Kissel draws first blood for Sydney FC! What a brilliant strike by the Slovakian international, and the SFS erupts into a wall of noise. Aloisi! Is that the goal that clinches the Premier's place for Sydney? What a goal by Aloisi! It's Sydney's day, and it is Sydney's season. A first ever Premiership secured in Vitoslav Levitska's first season at the SFS, and against their old rivals to boot. It doesn't get much better than that for the Sky Blues.
Strength, here's Ryan Grant, now Holosko. Forced wide by Jackson, breaks in for Ninkovic, and there is the breakthrough. Flicked on, chance, goal! Alex Brosque does score in front of the Cove, and the celebrations can kick off here at Allianz Stadium. And with these 3 points, they set an all-time record in the Hyundai A-League. That works it superbly, Sydney. Solo!
And I think the final touch was off for Bo, and he has another one, the Brazilian. Lighted into to the path of Costa Barbarouses. Now Leroy George, and it's cleared off the line, and that will do it. And it is a seasonal clean sweep for the second year in a row against victory for Sydney FC.
Yeah, some great memories there for all fans of the Sky Blues. Very fitting that I think the last picture there was Alex Brosque holding the Premier's plate, and Sydney might well be doing that again tonight. Live pictures of players coming into the stadium today. It is another chilly night for this game against the Newcastle Jets. Just talking in general, Brosque, about this team. I mean, over the last 12 months, they've had your retirement, some other pretty big holes that have appeared. Brandon O'Neill has left, Josh Brillante has gone to Melbourne City. Michael Zullo, of course, has had injuries to contend with. And yet they seem to have been able to cope with all of those problems without missing a beat. Is that just down to good coaching or just good players? Or both?
No, it is both. I think you need to have, and when you look at a team, the core group that's been there for the last 4 or 5 years, you know, your Wilcos, Ryan Grant, Zullo's come into that as well.
They keep things ticking over, don't
Exactly right. So it doesn't matter sort of who comes in, who goes. As well, Stevie's obviously a big part of that as well. You know, I think the fact that he was able to, you know, stepping into Arnie's shoes was a big thing, but he did it seamlessly. He knew what worked, and he kept that going. And I think with those the core group of players that they've got, that's the big thing. Regardless of recruitment, who comes in and out, it needs to be spot on the recruitment, but they are quick to bring all those players into line, into what they're doing, and just get them winning.
And winning, they keep doing. And they did against Wellington Phoenix, of course, on Friday night. Very tight game, first against third. And the Phoenix played well that night. It was a good tempo in cool conditions. Maybe a portent of things to come in terms of winter. And Trent Bahagia, again, another big tick against Steve Corica. He saw what needed to be done. He brought Bahagia on. And he rewarded that faith with 2 goals, the match-winning goals.
Yeah, and I'm so happy for him as well, because he's had a hard sort of past 12 months with injuries and coming back from that and then finding hard to get himself into that starting lineup. But he's such a good young kid. He's you know, his eagerness to want to learn and to improve and to work on his game. To see him come on and get a reward like that is great, because I think he's a player who can change a game for you and can very easily win a game, just as we saw the other night.
Indeed he can. Trent Bahagia is not in the starting lineup tonight, of course, for Sydney FC. He hasn't started an A-League game since April 2018. I'm sure his chance will come at some stage. Here is the Sydney FC lineup for you. It does show 2 changes from the team that started against Wellington Phoenix. Joel King drops out. Michael Zullo does get his first start since the 1st of December against Western United. The other change sees Alexander Baum-Johan replace Milos Ninkovic, who drops down to the bench. So it's Andrew Redmayne, Ryan Grant, Ryan McGowan, Alex Wilkinson, Michael Zullo across the back, Paolo Retre and Luke Bratton again in midfield. Alexander Baum-Johan, Anthony Caceres, who switches over to the left, and Adam Lafondra and Costa Barbarouses, who are up top. In terms of the Jets, Luis Italiano in goal, the back 3 of John Katrumbis, Nigel Bogard and Nikolai Topor-Stanley, Matthew Miller and Connor O'Toole are the 2 wing-backs, Steve Ugarkovic and Angus Thurgate in midfield. And then up top, it is Bernie Abedi up against his former club, Roy O'Donovan making his 100th A-League appearance, and Nick Fitzgerald. We will talk a little bit more about the Newcastle Jets in a moment or two, but in the meantime, a bit of a reunion tonight on the benches. Steve Corica, Carl Robinson and his Jets assistant Darren Baisley were all teammates at Wolves in the mid-90s. Let's hear now from Bimby, or Steve Corica as he's more commonly known, about his team's prospects of adding the Premiership to the Championship they won last year.
Well, Steve, fantastic result on Friday night, and it gives you a chance to wrap up the Premier's plate this evening.
Yeah, well, obviously a big occasion Friday night to beat Wellington 3-1 in our first game back, which was great. But yeah, it's looking forward to tonight's obviously match up against Newcastle, first game for them. A couple of good friends of mine, obviously the head coach, I played with him, and the assistant coach as well at Wolves. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing them tonight, and yeah, hopefully wrapping up the Premiership.
Been in touch this week?
No, I haven't spoken to him this week. I keep quiet the week leading into the game. Don't want to say too much. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing them, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the boys back up after 4 days against Wellington.
Obviously, only a point needed to secure the Premier's plate, but your point won't be just what you're after this evening.
No, definitely not. We're going to win. We're at home. We're looking for another 3 points and to continue on our winning ways. And this is no different. Obviously, the Premier's plate will come with this once we do get the 3 points, and then we'll have a little bit of time for the boys to celebrate, maybe.
In terms of the lineup, 2 changes to the team that played against or started against Wellington.
Yeah, just the 2 changes. Obviously, Bomihan's coming back into the side. He had a few little niggly injuries in pre-season, or the short pre-season we had, and he's fully fit now. And Michael Zulo, he's been desperate to play for a long time. He's fully fit again, and we'll give him a start tonight as well.
And the Jets, their league position isn't great, but I'm no doubt they won't be a pushover.
No, definitely not. I think once you've seen with Carl Robinson coming in, their style of football has changed quite a bit. They're going with the back 3 now as well, and they've picked up a couple of good results under him. So obviously, we've got to be prepared for what they throw at us. They need to win to try and make the top 6. They're not out of it completely, and it's our job to stop them.
Good luck tonight, Stephen. Let's hope we're lifting that plate come full time.
Let's hope so.
Yeah, the thoughts of Steve Corica in conversation with Dave Warner. We mentioned Steve a little bit earlier on, Alex, and I talked with him with Luke Wilkshire on Friday about how people at the start, they weren't quite sure whether Steve was the right successor to Graham Arnold, but you look at his stats, not only winning the title, he's lost only 8 A-League games out of 50 since he took over, which are remarkable stats. Do you notice that he's changed anything at all in his approach from Arnie?
I think Stevie is, when I mentioned Wilco, Ryan Grant, these types of guys who were the core of this group, Bimby was there the whole time. He's been there for many coaches and been assistant, so he's learned so much. He knows how to get the best and how to deal with the players. So for me, it seemed just, seamless that he was going to step in and do a similar job. I had no doubt about that. Just the way he is as a person, the way he had the respect that he gets from the players, and the fact that he knew already what it took for this to get this team going, and he's just carried that on. He's added his little bits of, his touch and his little bit of, Stevie Corica to the team. But in saying that, like I said, he just knew what it took to get these players to win, and he's able to continue doing that. So, I think along with the recruitment in years to come, as long as he's at the helm there, I don't see things changing.
Okay, well, just a point required tonight for the Premiership, and this, of course, is the 3rd and final meeting this season between Sydney FC and the Newcastle Jets, and the Sky Blues have won both previous clashes this campaign. A 4-1 win in Sydney back in November of last year, and they followed that up with a 2-1 success in January up in Newcastle.
Had a little glance at the linesman just to check that he was onside, but Sydney's early pressure has paid off. They lead after 5 minutes. To operate in, and Bamio hand finds Grant. Oh, that's a lovely finish. And Adam Lafondra, who really should have scored in the opening minutes, has scored now. The Jets were the only outfit he'd never scored against, with the exception of Western United, of course. McGowan did get there, and it's gone in. An own goal off John Katrumbis. It was Ryan McGowan's header, but it was the touch from John Katrumbis that flat-footed Glenn Moss. Barbarouses found the gap beautifully. Barbarouses has his first goal for Sydney FC. It's been a while coming, denied twice by VAR review, but not this time, I don't think. And Sydney extend their lead to 4-1.
What about the play from Brandon O'Neill? When they just break out, it's a straight ball near the halfway line, and Brandon O'Neill is the one who cuts it out.
Check on the watch from Barbarouses. Sydney threatening, and now they lead. It's as simple as that. That's just what the champions do, and it's Adam Lafondra with his 13th of the season. Still feasting on those sausage rolls, the Englishman. Could be costly. It is. Again, it's as easy as that.
carpet for Sydney, and don't be surprised if they accept the offer.
So the Sky Blues looking for a seasonal clean sweep after those 2 victories earlier on this season. But let's talk a wee bit about the Newcastle Jets. Revitalised somewhat under Carl Robinson, who took over in February, Brosque. And they've had 6 matches under him. They've lost just the once. It's going to be tough for them to make the finals, though, because of Adelaide's win over Brisbane on Sunday, which really makes the gap that little bit too big at this stage of the season. Not too many matches left. But they've got some handy players, haven't they? Not least Matt Miller. They play this back 3 system, and Miller in particular is such a threat going down the right-hand side.
Yeah, he is. He's someone who's he's just physically such a, he's
great
a specimen,
athlete,
really great athlete.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's someone who can get up and down that line. He's big, he can win balls in the air. And look, like a bigger version of Ryan Grant, really. He's up and down all day. He can run for fun, get good quality delivery in, and someone who you can really rely on in that position. So he's been great for them.
Yeah, tough test for Michael Zullo on his return to the Sydney FC starting lineup today. On the other side of the pitch, they've lost Bobby Burns, who's gone back to Hearts after his loan spell has ended. They've just signed, actually, in the last 24 hours, the Jets' Mickey Neill, the former Central Coast Mariners defender, maybe to replace him. Now, Dimi Petratos, we know well, of course, at Sydney FC, started his career there, but he starts on the bench today, which is interesting. Bernie Abedi, another former Sky Blue, is preferred in attack.
Yeah, it is interesting, but I think, look, given the last couple of months off and the fact that Bernie's now had a few months of training with the Jets, he's obviously seen something that Bernie, he thinks, can provide. Look, whether you have Bernie coming off the bench or Dimi coming off the bench, I think both have that ability to come on and win you a game, so hopefully that's not tonight for Dimi, but I think regardless, Bernie, it's great to see him starting again. He's had a difficult run in the last few years with injuries, and it's just good to see him. He's such a great guy, a great player. Good to see him, out there tonight. I'm sure he'll give Zulls a big test tonight as well. But yeah, look, I think for the 2 players, both of them, to have someone like Dimi Petratos on the bench just shows, I guess, the quality that they're starting to get now. Yeah,
indicative of the strength in depth that Carl Robinson is trying to construct up in the Hunter. Let's hear from the Welshman, the new coach of the Newcastle Jets. He's in conversation now with Declan Payne.
So Carl, the boys have been in training for 4 weeks now, and we're almost at our first game of the season. How are they looking?
Yeah, good, eager, ready to go. I think obviously it's been a long break, unfortunate break, and the boys have got back on the training ground and working very hard. So I've worked with them for 10 days, the last 10 days since out of quarantine, and they've been very good. They've been very receptive. And looking forward to it, so we're excited.
First game of the season, or the resumption of the season, is against the Premiers-elect, Sydney FC. How does that affect things, and how do you approach that?
Well, it's a difficult game. They're the best team, based upon obviously the league table, and deservedly so. They've got some really, really good players, and Stevie's done a great job there. We know that, and it's probably the best challenge we can ask for, because you want to play against the best, and we're certainly playing against the best. So we'll look forward to it. We'll obviously have a game plan and idea of how we want to play. We'll focus on that. Obviously, we've got to keep an eye on their key players, because they've got some really good players in certain areas. But hopefully, it's a good game of football, which is what we all want.
You speak about some of those key players. I mean, guys like Milošević and Alexander Bamyohan. How do you approach those two in particular?
Yeah, well, I'll make the players aware of certain individuals. I think you've highlighted 2 there, but I think they've got 3 or 4 individuals that can really hurt you, and I have hurt teams throughout the season. So I'll make them aware, but we'll focus on us. The game is pretty simple. The game is played with the ball and without the ball. What you do with the ball is down to you and how you want to play and how you move within the system that you play, and what you do without the ball depends on where you press and when you try and win the ball back, whether that's high up the field in the middle third or you sit deeper. So we'll have a game plan. We'll go into it full of confidence, even though it's our first game against the best team. And as I said, we need to go out and win the game. We know we're in a position on the outside looking in, but we've got firm belief that if we can get off to a positive start in the game, we can go and get a result there.
Yeah, Carl Robinson doing a good job up there in Newcastle with the Jets, but tonight really a must-win game for the visitors if they are to stay in contention for finals football this season. Let's round off our preview. You can see the players behind us, maybe just about make them out. just going through their warm-ups. Kick-off not too far away here at Jubilee Stadium. And we're going to focus once again, Brosque, on the Sydney FC lineup. And one of those two changes that Steve Corica has made today is in the inclusion of Alexander Baum-Johan. Milos Ninkovic, of course, the legs are getting a little bit older these days. He starts on the bench after starting against Wellington. So more of a squad rotation thing, really, I would imagine. Baum-Johan has had to wait for his chance after the restart, but a player really who's been reborn in Sky Blue after the Wanderers, to be fair, didn't really seem to know how to utilise his abilities to best potential.
Yeah, exactly. I think you said it perfectly that he's been reborn at the club here. I think we saw glimpses of how good he could be at the Wanderers, but look, I think just due to the fact that the squad that he was a part of last year, just form-wise, wasn't all that good. It sort of reflected on him as well, and then him coming here with a good squad behind him, he's just been able to shine and been great. And I think he just gives Stevie another option up front. When you look at Caceres as well, Ninkovic, it gives Bimby the chance to rotate players like tonight heading into the finals. And regardless of whether it's Baum-Johan, Ninko, Caceres, all three of those guys give Bimby a great headache to have coming into the finals.
You look at Baum-Johan's CV, he's played for Schalke, Borussia Mönchengladbach, Bayern Munich, Schalke, Kaiserslautern, Hertha Berlin. I mean, these are massive clubs in world football.
They are, and I think, look, that's what people tend to forget, you know, because he had that CV and then people expected so much of him last year and he probably wasn't able to produce that. But, you know, I think the fact that he's come here to a squad like this and he looks over, and I read an article today where he talks about the work rate of someone like Ninko. When he's able to look over and see Ninko alongside him, getting up and down the line, doing as much work as he does, I think that even inspires someone like him and makes him an even better player. So, I mean, that sort of shows you the impact that Ninko has at this club, but also allows us not to forget just how good Baum-Johan is.
Let's hear from the German. He's talking with Dave Warrener.
Well, Alex, it's your first start of the campaign tonight since the restart. How are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, very excited. I think it's a big game for us today. With a point or a win, we can get the championship, so very excited.
This will be your first championship outside of Germany. What does it mean to you to win a title here in Australia?
Yeah, it means a lot. I think this is the reason why I joined this club. It's a club that's known for winning lots of trophies, and yeah, I'm very happy that I can win my first trophy with this club now.
Newcastle Jets won't be a pushover, though. They've shown that they, under new boss Carl Robinson, can be very difficult to break down. How do you think the game's going to go?
Yeah, I think after the switch of the coach, they were quite successful, so it will be a tough game, like always against Newcastle, but I think we're quite confident that we can win this game.
And for you, going on from today, what are your ambitions for the rest of the season?
Yeah, there's still a lot of targets for us. The most important thing is to win the championship today and then the grand final after, but also I think we can break lots of records, and so we try to win all the other games in the future also starting today.
Would you say this is one of the better teams that you've played for in your career?
Yeah, I think we are so far ahead of the other teams, and it was just so much fun from the beginning. So it's just my first year, and hopefully there are lots of years in the future to come.
Good luck tonight, Alex.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Alexander Baum-Johan looking to get his first piece of silverware, his first medal, and it can happen tonight if Sydney FC get the 1 point they need to claim what would be a fourth Premier's plate. We're going to round off, Brosque, with a few Twitter questions that people have sent in. Okay. I'm not sure we're going to have a definitive answer to this first one from Sky Blue Man, who asks, who has the better beard, me or you? I think yours is better groomed.
Oh, look, I was surprised when I saw you. I hadn't seen you.
You didn't recognise me,
yeah? No, but it looks good. I love it. I love it.
I love yours too, Brosque. This one from Matt Lawton. This is a good one, actually. Is Adam Lafondra better than Bobo? Ooh.
Oh, that's tough. Yeah, that's tough. I think they're different players. Alfie's someone who buzzes around, can pop up anywhere. He'll make runs out to the corner flag to get the ball and you know, bring other players into play. Bobo was a proper number 9, you know, in the box, and just whatever delivery he got, he could find a way to score. So different players, both with just as good goal scoring, you know, records at the club. So if I had to pick, I don't think I could.
Okay. Richard Day, I like this one as well. Should the Premier's Plate winner be thought of as the best team rather than the champions? It's an age-old debate. I know Graham Arnold used to set great store on the Premiership, but what's your take? Are you a grand final man or a Premier's Plate man?
It's hard because being Australian, I think we've grown up with always wanting a grand final winner. You know, that's just Australian sport. I tend to think that the best team is first past the post, but unfortunately in Australia it's always about the grand final. I'd like for Australian football eventually to get to the point where we don't need a final series. The FFA Cup can be that knockout competition, exactly right, and the league can be its own thing. But unfortunately, we love finals. We love a grand final, and that's when we get the best crowd. So until the day comes that we're filling out these stadiums every single week, we'll have to make do with the champions being the biggest one.
Okay, and final one from Ben Talbot. We've sort of talked about this already during the pre-game show. Does Steve Corica get enough credit?
Look, I think he does. I think everyone spoke. I think initially there was such a big hole that Arnie left that people weren't sure as to someone could come in and step into his shoes. And Stevie did exactly that. And he was credited a lot for keeping things the same, for getting the team continuing to win. And he still continues to do that. I think there's a lot written about how well Stevie does. I think it's all deserved because he's fantastic. I don't think he's not credited enough. I think I think he definitely gets the credit that he is that he deserves.
Okay, and the icing on the cake will be if he gets his first premiership as coach tonight. They need 1 point. Prediction time, Brosque. Will they get the points? I'm sure you're going to say they're going to get all three.
Yeah, look, I think last week, it took up until Trent came on the field to win them late. I think tonight, having got those probably rusty legs out of them in the first game, we'll be a bit more comfortable tonight. And with what's up for grabs as well, they'll want to get this tied up nice and early. For me, I'm predicting 3-0.
3-0, okay. Not sitting on the fence then. Thanks very much, Brosque. Great to see you today. Enjoy the game, and no doubt we'll see you again on some of these pre-game shows as we complete the A-League campaign. Now, just a quick reminder that tonight after the game, if Sydney FC get the points they need, the presentation of this Premier's Plate trophy, not this one exactly, but you know what I mean, will be again live on the Sydney FC Facebook page. So don't forget to tune in post-game for that if the Sky Blues gets the results they need. You can watch the game, of course, on Fox Sports or on KO or also on the MyFootball app. And that is us. Enjoy the match. From me, Simon Hill, from Alex Brosque and the rest of the team. Bye for now.